What's up, folks? It's Mickle here, and today we're talking money. We're talking the big bucks, that proverbial $1 million. I'll tell you exactly how I made it. Why was I in Redfin? What was I digging for? So you'll get a chance to see sort of my methodology and my mental going in, and how you can perhaps apply things for yourself and your own families, and how you can continue to come up. I'll do that in a screen by screen live version here. As you can see, I have Redfin all locked and loaded. And then for those of you who are short on time and you say, okay, look, I got it, I'm gone, you move on to other videos or books or other research criteria. For those of you who have a little bit more time and want to hang around just a little bit more, I'll tell you sort of what my thoughts are for the current market, things going forward, based off what I've seen from the private jet crowd. So with that being said, let's get started. All right, everyone, before we get into Redfin, I wanted to show you what took me here so you sort of understand the method to my madness. What you're seeing is this is the rendering of my dream home. It is a French chateau. It's very grand. It's about 15,000 square feet. It has a towering roof line, and it's something you have to have a lot of specifics on. I have to have a piece of land that will allow the front door to sit back at least 300 feet. The roof line is about 50 feet tall, and when you're doing something like that, you have to ensure that the neighbors will not object to it. So while we're working on that and getting that all sorted and squared away, I have to have some place to live in the meantime. So I've chosen the state of Florida, and specifically the southeast portion of Florida. I will say in all of my travels, I've been to Beverly Hills, I've been to Europe, I've been to Asia. I've just never seen a place that doesn't mind showing a display of wealth and wearing it on their sleeve. It's not for everybody. Some people think that's very gaudy and showy to show Rolls Royces and Lamborghinis and have big, beautiful homes and mansions and yachts and all that. I don't particularly have a problem with it. In fact, I like it. That's just sort of my thing. You have to do what works for you. But my point is, I have to live someplace in the meantime, and I'm specific about that. So when you go to Redfin, and you don't have to use Redfin, you can use Trulia or any of the other applications. I think Realtor.com and the just any number of applications. I just like Redfin because it's just clean content for me. I can get around the screen. So as you can see here, I've put in 4 bedrooms, 4 bathrooms. I want a house. I have several filters that I was looking for. In fact, I did not want to go as high as 10 million. Let's just say 7 million. Don't let the numbers scare you off. Those are just parameters for searching. So as you can see, house. Then I wanted a minimum of 5,000 square feet, something built no earlier than 2005, 3-car garage, et cetera, et cetera. So as you can see, that comes up to about 168 homes. So when I click on that, some homes pop up for view. I like something maybe that looks like that. That's about 2 million. Let's see here. Like that, that's about 2.2 million. This is about 2.2 million. But there's something specific I'm looking for. Again, this one, about 2.5 million. And again, don't let these numbers scare you. These are search criteria. But I want to show you something really quick of something that caught my eye. This place here, this is over in Parkland. It's about 8,500 square feet. It's about 4 million. The reason why I bring that up is because of the interior features. This door, big round door, side lights and transoms. There's a very high ceiling here, floor to ceiling windows, very traditional details. I know what I'm looking at. I know this is the kind of thing that turns me on. For someone who's not really trained in looking at this, you'll probably just see a home, a living room, an entry. I like that kind of thing. So I knew I wanted a place that was going to look something like that. Now, here's the thing. You have seen these prices. They're ranging, there's several $1 million. So when I was doing my search, I got used to seeing what I like, and everything I like was anywhere from about two to 2 to 4 million. So that was my personal search criteria. So you have to imagine what happens, and I'll just use this home as an example. This is not the one that I chose, but imagine if you know that you're looking for about this square footage, it should be about this price, this many beds, this many bath, and instead of seeing 3.3, you see $1 million even. That instantly lets you know, okay, this is worth checking out. And again, not this particular house. I'm just using this one as an example. So when I saw a home that I knew should have cost about $3 million, based off my research, and it was only asking $1 million, I said, okay, there must be something wrong. So I clicked on the home, I clicked through it, everything looked good, everything seemed to check out. I immediately contacted the agent and I said, hey, listen, is there something wrong? Is this the right, are these the right pictures? Is this false advertisement? Is there molding or bacteria or something like that? The agent told me the house was fine. It's just that was the price. So I immediately dived in. I went down to check the place out. The place was, it was as advertised. And I said, okay, this seems to be a deal. This is clearly a home that should be about $3 million. And the family only wanted $1 million for it. So I made the offer. We came to terms and I got the place. Now, I didn't want to ask the guy a lot of questions on why he was letting it go for $1 million. But after we closed the deal and we got everything all squared away, I did go back and ask him, and he told me that simply he had several homes, and he had. I mean, the guy was just very well to do. The family was. They were just very well to do, and you will find that especially in the South East Florida region, many parts of Florida, but specifically down here, it's almost the Wild West. I was just out looking at real estate yesterday in Marco Island. I went to check out a place. It was about 6.5 million. Again, don't let the numbers scare you off. That's just search criteria for me. When I got there, I found out that the owner had ten other homes that were very similar, and they just did not want that one anymore. So in those scenarios, you can get something that may cost what you think, and it could be very, much lower, and that's what happened. So instantly, that gave me when I made the purchase, $2 million equity stake. So now that's just what it was. Now this is not the first time I've done that. I used Redfin this time. The last time I did it, I was just out. I'm going to zoom in. I was in the Parkland, Florida area. Unfortunately, Parkland is infamous for reasons they would like to forget, but they had the school shooting here in this area. And again, this was long before the school shooting. I was out in this area. I was looking. I found a fabulous place. The place was essentially abandoned, but it was brand new. It was never lived in. It was a $3 million home, and the bank wanted about 850,000. So, with probably about 150,000 in finishing off the place, you had a $2 million equity stake. And so it's really just that simple. Now, I'm sure some of you could be looking at this and like, well, good for you, Mr. $1 million home. I don't have the ability to buy a $1 million home. You don't have to. You have to get in where you are, where you can fit in. So, is your first deal going to be $1 million profit? Yeah, it's probably not. Well, what if you look and you look and you seek, and you're looking at places that cost, let's say, 250,000, and then one day you come up on something that's 100,000, and based off all your search criteria, it should have cost more than that, but maybe the person is letting it go. Maybe there's something wrong, whatever. Who knows? But you do enough of this search, and then when something pops up, something, it looks like an opportunity, and so you take advantage. And that's essentially what I did. It happens periodically. I mean, I know $1 million sounds like a lot, and it is, but these things happen. I mean, you really should get comfortable with bigger numbers and understand that there's people out there that are infinitely rich. There's people out there with billions of dollars at their disposal. There's people at 100 million, but that's them. Good for them. Congratulations. There's a lot of people that don't have three or four or $500,000 they can get in one deal. So you should feel good about this. But this is a very simple research project for all of you. So this exercise hadn't cost anyone a thing. We're just going through search. I showed you a very simple way. Now, again, everyone won't be able to afford $1 million home. Maybe some people can only afford, 100,000. I will caution this. There's going to be a lot of people online, a lot of people, shouting real estate this, real estate that, make millions in real estate. I really don't pay a lot of that stuff a lot of attention. You'll find all kind of catchphrases, location, location, location. I was not looking for location when I found what I found in either case. Maybe they were good locations, maybe they were not. I really don't know. That's not what I was looking for. You'll find people saying, buy real estate for no money down and bad credit. I really do not understand that stuff. That's never been the case for me. I've always had to justify to the banks that I can, buy whatever it is I was looking for. This is not the days of the ninja loans, no income, no job, no assets. For those of you who are familiar with the Big Short movie and the current the default swaps and those type of things, CDOs, the catchphrases, when you find people, shouting all kinds of things at you and the market's being in distress. So all types of catchphrases out there. I think one of the ones that I thought was a couple I thought was pretty neat. Don't wait to buy real estate. Buy real estate and wait. That's not always the case. I've gotten caught on the wrong end of that. I've seen other people get caught on the wrong end of that. Dr. Dolph DeRoos was a guy I learned about many years ago. He'd done extraordinarily well. Something that he talked about, he would say, if you owe the bank $200, they have a problem. If you owe the bank $2 million, I'm sorry, let me restate that. If you owe the bank $200, you have a problem. If you owe the bank $2 million, they've got a problem. Don't know how you feel about that. I don't owe a bank $2 million. I wouldn't mind owing a bank $2 million if it's the right scenario, if the interest rates are good. I know the Dave Ramsey types out there don't like owing money. That's really not me. I can come up with all kinds of ways to use loans. I'm not in Dave Ramsey's case. I think his business does about $300 million a year. And if I was making that kind of money, then maybe I don't have a need for a loan. Maybe I do. I don't know. Just giving you some examples and catchphrases and things that are out there. So that's it. That's pretty simple. I'm sort of looks like 12 minutes into this recording. So I'm going to pause this. So the people who are in a hurry and they got to scurry on to other things and want to look at other videos, that's fine. I am going to pause right here and I am going to continue to talk this time on camera about what I see as we move forward in 2024 and other deals I might take advantage of. But this was sort of a quick and dirty for those of you who wanted to know what I was talking about and like, is this guy for real? Is it $1 million deal? Did he really make $1 million? I sincerely hope that you can see that I did. So I'm going to pause here and I'll go back on camera. All right, folks, so that's it. That's my Redfin step-by-step criteria. I hope you were able to gain something from that. And again, don't worry about if your first deal, you don't make that $1 million, that's fine. But if you keep doing that, you keep those trigger points and you keep going, you'll be just fine over time. Now, let's get into a little bit about where I think the market is going and why I decided to do this video, again, prefacing it with the private jet crowd. Many years ago, I used to work in the private jet industry. Technically, it's the business jet industry. People call it private jet. It just sounds fancier or sexier, I guess. But I worked in the business jet industry. And there were three things that the travelers took with them on the jet every time. That was coffee, ice, and the great newspapers. Of those newspapers, the Financial Times, which is sort of a pinkish newspaper, read by financiers all over the world. It's like they're very, very tough to get. It sells out quick. They also did the New York Times and the Washington Post, but more specifically the Financial Times. That's where I want to target. I was reading in the Financial Times recently, I think it was perhaps March of 2024, and the writer of the article was prefacing one of the elite Wall Streeters, and they were talking about how the Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, and Ginnie Mae would go into the secondary mortgage market, how that could release trillions of dollars in equity out into the economy. Now, here's the thing, for those of you who are not familiar with Fannie, Freddie, and Ginnie. Fannie, Freddie, and Ginnie are sort of quasi or pseudo government agencies, but they back the banks to make loans on a primary first home to millions of Americans out there in the mortgage market. So they don't get involved in your secondary, your home equity loans and home equity lines of credit. Right now, you have to think about where the market is. A number of people bought during the pandemic, right before the pandemic, and they were able to get rates as low as 2.5%, 3.5%. Right now, some of those people are in a tough position. They're not going to go back and refinance their mortgage at the current rates, which are darn near 7%. So that sort of traps a lot of equity in people's homes. And the economy wants that money out, moving the economy. They want people going to Home Depot and Lowe's and Walmart, decorating their homes and building decks and finishing basements and those types of things. So with that money trapped into the home, it can't move the economy. So they know you don't want to refinance or take money out of your primary, but what if you get involved in the secondary market? Again, those HELOCs and home equity loans. The rates are going to be higher than primary. So right now, if rates are 7%, a home equity loan or a home equity line of credit is going to be north of that. And it's sort of depending on your credit and your individual situation on where it could go. But if that money is tapped and it gets out and start moving the economy, I think a lot of things can happen. First and foremost, I think it's going to push human nature. So if you got a guy who's living sort of check to check or maybe just over, and then he goes out and he gets a $30,000 home equity loan or home equity line of credit, at some point nature's going to take its course. Maybe he starts by saying, I'll just pay my taxes or square up on an overdue light bill. But at some point, and it probably won't take long, he's going to buy a motorcycle, somebody's going to buy a car, somebody's going on vacation, somebody's going to buy jewelry, somebody's going to buy clothes, somebody's going to go to the mall and absolutely ball out, and they're going to think, wow, now I'm making it. And then they're going to spend very loosely, and that can have very troubling effects. Those of you who saw the movie The Big Short, you may remember how things got. So if we preface that off Fannie, Freddie, and Ginnie, and then now we add in the fourth big, which is the Wall Street banks, who their magic number is more. Like, they don't want to make a lot of money. They don't want to make millions and billions. They just want to make more. So if they can get into that secondary market and start, moving things around, then you'll probably get back into current default swaps and collateralized debt obligations and all that stuff. And again, for those of you who fans of that movie, that can lead to cat crap and dog cat wrapped in cat crap and all the terms that they use. I won't use them. It could be very messy. I don't think that will happen for some time. We still do have a home shortage, so there's just the supply of homes is still short. We're also in an election season, and in an election season, you have President Biden, who had a not so good performance on stage against former President Donald Trump. But I do believe, regardless of who wins the office of the presidency, they're going to target lowering the primary interest rates to get more people out in the market. And if that happens, it's going to put a lot of pressure on the current home. So right now, if a guy is having trouble moving his home at, let's say, $600,000 because the interest rate's 7%, if they drop primary rates down to say 5%, now a lot more people can afford that guy's house. And what's going to happen is they're going to start making offers. They're going to artificially drive the price up. And when that happens, that guy could sell. Now, you also have to keep in mind, maybe that guy or other people like him or her for that matter, they have home equity loans, home equity lines of credit. Maybe some people didn't spend wisely. They got themselves into trouble. They can't sell and move because if they sold their $600,000 home or $600,000 home for, let's say, maybe $700,000, they start getting crazy offers. Well, they're just going to do lateral moves. They're going to be looking to go down, but there's not going to be any inventory down because everybody's driven the price up. All the homes at $500,000 and $450,000, all the good ones have been taken, so they're in a mess. And I think what happens is, with those people who went out and going hog wild spending with those home equity loans that's tied to their homes, unfortunately, it puts their homes at risk. And what happens is, you start to run into late payments, then short sales and foreclosures, and you got a mess. My strategy, if that happens, and I think it probably will, or certainly has a good possibility, is to keep myself strong both from a financial and a credit standpoint. Keep my credit score up, keep my cash up, and then I will go in and take advantage of those situations. Nothing I started. I don't wish for anybody's downfall. In fact, I've been down. In fact, I've lost everything before. But if that's affecting any of you, if you've had bad cash situations, bad credit situations, job loss, trust me, you'll be fine. You can come up out of the ashes if you just stay focused. Do the things you're supposed to do. You'll be fine. I thought it was the end of the world. At some days, you have your low points, but trust me, you'll be fine, and you'll get back to things. So that's sort of my strategy going forward. I have been watching the Fed rates. Jerome Powell is on, and obviously they're probably going to try to do something with rates. I don't know how fast who becomes president pushes it, but I think it's going to have some effect on it. So all that being said, again, I wish you all the best of luck. I wish you great strategies, great successes with that. And I hope that you can get those $1 million deals. If your first deal is not $1 million, trust me, you'll be fine. Do a $50,000 deal, do $100,000. Start wherever you can, but if you consistently get yourself a system, a repeatable process, you'll be able to do exactly what you want to do in the markets. Don't get in a hurry. Don't get greedy. Watch what you're doing. Try to control your spending toward frivolous stuff, and you'll be fine. So there you have it. That's what I wanted to present. Thank you all so much for watching. And with that being said, from the mobile home to where moguls roam, I am Anthony Von Mickle. Activate Gorilla Grind mode. Let's work.